Did you know our marine radio operators monitor the marine radio network 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year? It's a great contribution towards safer boating in New South Wales. If you'd like to be involved, hit the Become a Volunteer tab on the Marine Rescue New South Wales website. My name's Brad Whitaker and this is Marine Rescue TV. Well, thanks for joining us in this episode. We're going to head up to the high country, launch a brand new rescue vessel and take a ride on a tall ship. But first, let's catch up with Commissioner Tannos to acknowledge National Volunteer Week.
During May of each year, we take the time to celebrate National Volunteers Week. Volunteers play a pivotal role in the community and particularly in emergency services. In our organisation, we have some 3,000 members across the state, the coastline, inland waters and our most recent unit on Lord Howe Island. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our members and their families for the considerable effort and commitment they put into this organisation and saving lives on the water. And to all of our volunteers, have a great National Volunteers Week and thank you for all the work you do supporting your local community.
Marine rescue operations on the New South Wales South Coast have been enhanced with a brand new rescue vessel. Minister for Transport and Roads Andrew Constance joined Deputy Commissioner Alex Burrell and members of Marine Rescue Tuross for the commissioning of TU-21.
It is wonderful to see the commissioning of a new vessel in our region. To have the water police based at Kiama and Eden is one thing, but we must never ever forget the enormous contribution of the volunteers behind Marine Rescue. I can't be more pleased to know that we are seeing, these types of vessels on our waterways, because not only is it about saving life and property, but it's also about education and making sure that people get home at the end of their incredible day of recreation.
As the Minister just touched on, the significant contribution that Marine Rescue makes day in, day out, right across our 44 units, soon to be 45, is outstanding, and that can't be underestimated or overlooked. And as I say, it is our members, it's solely our membership, whether you are mastering our vessels, manning our radio rooms, volunteering in the fundraising, our administration. Every contribution is a very important cog in the wheel of Marine Rescue, and I thank everyone here today who is part of that for making Marine Rescue the success it is. And it's without the dedication of the volunteers right throughout these units in the Monaro area, we wouldn't be able to support the boating community. While this is a vessel for our members, it is a community asset for Maruya and Tuross, and this is supporting the local boating community of this area. And driving down here this morning to see so many boats on the back of cars, it just shows what a great pastime it is down here to share these beautiful waterways.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
It's a winter wonderland, but as the snow melts, the Alpine Lakes become a great venue for boating and other water activities. Phil Campbell meets the volunteers from Marine Rescue Alpine Lakes to explore the challenges of boating on colder waters.
Water temperatures below 15 degrees can be dangerous, even on sunny days. Falling into cold water can be life-threatening. As always, it's important to wear a life jacket. It'll help you manage cold shock, conserve your energy, and prevent you from inhaling water. If you fall overboard, try to stay calm. Resist the temptation to swim. This increases body heat loss. Stay with your boat. If you're alone, the best option to limit body heat loss is the help position. Draw your knees to your chest, clasp your hands together so you're in a tucked position. Stay in this position. Of course, cold water can be a risk throughout much of the year, including in autumn and spring, as well, of course, as in winter. But one area where you're always at risk from the effects of cold water are the Alpine Lakes.
Ginnabrine is definitely becoming a destination for all year round. Obviously it pumps in winter, but it is beginning to increase in summer. With regards to water sports, photography is massive. There's fishing competitions, and then there's just your social aspects of just paddleboarding with your friends upon just having a good time by the lake. Marine Rescue gives me confidence, as I suppose it's another pair of eyes looking out for one single thing, the health and well-being of people on the lake.
We have 2 vessels here, one for Lake Yukonbeen and one for Lake Jindabyne. Lake Yukonbeen is 8 times the size of Sydney Harbour, and Lake Jindabyne is much smaller, 14 kilometres long by 4 kilometres wide. Within minutes here, we come from calm to 120 kilometre-hour winds, and the waves can be 1.5 metres high. So wear life jackets.
We're actually down here camping for the week in the bush, doing a bush camp, and we've been canoeing on the river as well. Today we thought the motorboat might be fun.
And what sort of things are you doing to stay safe out in the water today?
We're wearing life jackets, and we're not all going in the boat at the same time. We're doing a couple trips.
Hazards on Lake Jindabyne, yeah, there's quite a few, and they're a bit different too than what you might get from down the coast. These are not lakes as such. These are actually dams, as you can see by the wall behind us. So when these were flooded, there's a lot of trees that have been down there for 50 years, and they tend to just pop up out of the surface occasionally. We had one when we were doing boating safety for the Dragon Boat races, and there was a tree the size of this boat that just kind of floated into their racing area, which was a bit of a worry. The other things that we can have here is like the rocks you see on the side. Some of them are just under the surface, and the points stick out into the lake quite a way. So as the lake drops, it might drop 1 metre, and it might expose some of those rocks, or maybe they're just under the surface. So you have to be a bit careful as you're boating around the edge of the lake. Other hazards, I mean, the temperature is an obvious one. It's nice and warm on the surface, but down lower, it's going to be a lot colder, and that will change as they move water in and out of these lakes.
Okay, we can help with that. You want to tow back to the boat ramp? Yeah, mate, I'm going to need a tow. Right, no problem. I'm going to line you.
Most definitely it's rewarding, and you know, as a new member in the unit, you'd get involved in all the different aspects of both boat handling and all the training when it comes to medical skills and ropes, knots, navigation, all that sort of stuff. So we give you a vast range of skills that you can take away and use in your own life as well.
Thanks, Phil, for that great advice and insight. Members of Marine Rescue Port Macquarie are comfortable operating state-of-the-art rescue vessels. They recently stepped back in time for a very special journey from Sydney to Port Macquarie. Jennifer Shearer from SBS World News was on board to tell the story.
There's brighter days on the horizon.
On we go, Port Macquarie!
These maritime rescue volunteers from Port Macquarie leaving Sydney Harbour this morning.
I'm getting there.
Trading their rescue boats for a very different vessel after battling the worst floods the mid-north coast has seen in 100 years.
It's a good relief for these guys that have worked really hard over the last 5-6 days doing their rescues, that they actually can have a break and feel a little rewarded for their hard efforts.
This has just been like the carrot on the end of the stick. It's just been looking forward to this, so it made it easier to get through all the excitement and the dramas of the floods.
With all hands on deck, this team of 12 are described as the backbone of the Port Macquarie unit, helping to evacuate residents as the floodwaters continued to rise.
We were going across paddocks several kilometres from the river, which is quite unusual for us, and we were going past cars, and we knew that it was deep enough for our boat because we could only see the roofs of the cars.
The crew will travel from Sydney Harbour to Port Stephens before docking in Port Macquarie on Wednesday. The 23-metre tall ship sailing in to Lady Nelson Wharf to mark the bicentenary of European settlement to the region.
At the current time, it's even more important for the community to be able to come together to celebrate who we are, all that we've been through, and all the great community spirit that we're seeing at the moment as, you know, members of the community out supporting each other with clean-up, with rebuilds.
The community's gone through a lot, bushfires, COVID, and now the floods. We really need something to pep up the town and the community to make them feel good and alive again.
Yes, nice clockwise coil.
Learning some new ropes on the passage to Port Macquarie, the crew will bring a piece of maritime history to a town steeped in it. Once in Port Macquarie, this ship will act as a resource for TAFE students completing maritime studies, as well as providing short trips to members of the public.
For us to turn up and hopefully put a smile on some people's faces that have had a pretty hard time over the last couple of weeks is really heartwarming for us.
The Coral Trekker will stay in Port Macquarie until mid-April. Jennifer Scherer, SBS World News.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button and also the bell so you can be notified of future episodes. Until next time, stay safe on the water.